thing conceived of to execution was about 3 days, and I didn't know PHP. So, I mean, that's just crazy. I wanted to give credit to Lonnie Abelbeck. Lonnie Abelbeck had written a PHP script that we adapted for the fax, and we actually use it almost verbatim for the click-to-dial. So, giving my hat to Lonnie Abelbeck for that. This brings us to my pet project, which is what I'm calling true unified. So this is kind of stuck in my craw, the way people use this term. They talk about unified communications, and oftentimes what they're referring to is taking a copy of your voicemail and sticking it in your inbox. And in my opinion, you're not unifying anything. They should call that tacked-on communications. You're adding another thing rather than bringing things in to one, centralizing lots of disparate things into one place. And so that's what I was trying to do. Now, this has been quite easy to do with something like Asterisk, where you can present multiple presentations to the calling parties. In other words, you might have this widget company, you might have a sideline business doing interpretive dance, whatever. You know, you present a different storefront to each of those customers, but you may field all the calls, and so those would naturally go into one physical repository. That's simple, right? The hard part has been this wireless component, right? Everyone has a wireless phone now, and making that part of your voicemail system has been a little bit of a pain in the butt. Typically, when you buy a phone, you get a mobile network operator provisioned voicemail account, and when you get a voicemail message, raises your message waiting indicator. Clear that message, they drop your message waiting indicator. This is by the network, and it's done in these 3 conditions: whether the phone is busy, if you don't answer it, or if it's off network. All those conditions go to the mobile network operator. And what a lot of people don't realize is you can control this, and that's simple. It's fairly well known. So you can fancy it up if you want. You can calls to UMail. And while I think that's really clever, it's not really unifying anything. It's just adding another technology. If you want to unify, you can do something like this, where you take your mobile messages, you take your 3 forwarding conditions, you redirect them at your Asterisk server. When they come into your Asterisk server, you can identify them as redirected calls from this wireless phone, and you can put them into the appropriate voicemail box. Now you've unified your voicemail. But the holy grail is this stinking message waiting synchronization. Wouldn't it be cool if you could synchronize the message waiting indicator on your phone? If you could manipulate your phone into believing that it had voicemail when it doesn't actually have network voicemail. And turns out you can do it, and I'm going to show you how. And I'm telling you, it's awesome. I've been using it for a while. We've been using it for a while, and it's just awesome. So turns out that the message waiting indicator on your phone is nothing more than a specially formatted SMS message. It's an SMS message that has a special header and a binary payload, and the network sends this message to you. But if you're clever, you can do it yourself. And in order to do this, you need 2 things. Well, you need a device, but you need a device that is permissive and permitted. So wireless network operators have the ability to control who participates in their network, and so you need a device that is allowed by them, and that allows you to formulate these kind of specially designed messages. This is one such device. So I'm going to plug this in here. I'm going to do a demo for you. Hopefully this doesn't crash my ancient computer. This is another such device. This one happens to be a Sprint device. These are kind of crazy expensive. These old PZMCA cards you can get on eBay for a couple bucks. You'll also need maybe one of these. These are SIM cards in various networks. But here's some interesting facts about the way this works. Number 1, the network doesn't actually look at this message. It doesn't actually parse the message payload. It's a private device-to-device message. It's no different than any other text message. They don't get involved. And so when you look at your phone bill, you'll actually have this activity. You get 7 voicemails. You're not going to see that the text message activity in your usage report. The mobile network operator doesn't put it in your bill, but for if you're hacking your own voicemail indicator, they will. They'll itemize it. Other facts that are interesting: there are other message waiting indicator types defined, although they're very rarely used. Video waiting, email waiting, fax waiting. Those are all message waiting types that are defined in the specification. but it's up to the device itself how to handle those messages. And the part about not supported, about video, fax, and email, those are largely because of the device. You could get a device that would actually respond to those messages, but of course nobody has any need for that, so it's largely unsupported. Also, even a very standard message like the voicemail waiting indicator, iPhone, for example, ignores that message because, of course, it subscribes to the AT&T visual voicemail system, and so they use a different messaging system. Other bits of information that are very important: network specific. That is to say that if I have my client device on T-Mobile, I can't manipulate an AT&T device. That message gets dropped at the perimeter of the network. The other thing that's very interesting is that it's technology specific. That is to say that the CDMA message waiting indicator is formatted differently than a GSM message. So, but when it works like this. So here's my asterisk server, and up here on top we've got the SMS gateway, which you fashion yourself out of one of these devices. And here comes a call to your desk. Well, it rings the phone, and you don't answer it, so of course you get a voicemail. And of course this SIP endpoint over here, it subscribes to the message waiting status of that mailbox, and so its message waiting indicator goes up. Simultaneously, a message is pushed out to the SMS gateway to raise the message waiting indicator on that device. That phone didn't even ring. I mean, you may set up your dialing plan so that both devices ring, but it doesn't need to have rung. It's just like you're sitting there and suddenly you have voicemail because someone rang that phone. So, like I said, it works great. And of course, inversely, a call comes in directly to your mobile phone. In that case, definitely your desk phone isn't going to ring. It gets redirected to your asterisk voicemail system. It gets identified as a call from the wireless device. And of course, you leave a message, simultaneously message waiting indicator on your desk phone, which didn't even ring, and your wireless device. So it's really, really cool. And then, of course, retrieving the message is just the opposite. Of course, retrieve your message from your desk phone, or you do it from your wireless phone. The message gets cleared, and of course, the messages go out, and the messages get cleared everywhere. So that's basically it. The way that you do this functionally is you have to draw a relationship in the asterisk system between the mailbox itself and the wireless subscriber number. So here, if you have a relational database, it's quite simple. You just have a table that defines the extension and the telephone number. But in the event that you don't have a relational database in your asterisk server, you'd need two AskDB lookups so that you can do a forward lookup and a reverse lookup, and you'll see why. Now, in order to make this work, instead of having your dial plan call the voicemail application directly, you can see here I put it inside of this put voicemail routine, which calls the voicemail application, but it also has this special hang-up extension. And the hang-up extension, after giving me some diagnostic information on the screen here, then it invokes this routine here, which reads in plain English: if that mailbox has a wireless account associated with it, and the message waiting and the voicemail status is success, in other words, yes, they did leave a message, then call the message waiting up routine right here with both the telephone number, which we got from an AskDB lookup up there, with the telephone number and the message waiting count. And of course, down here you can see copying some diagnostic information out, and then I'm using curl to communicate with my SMS gateway, which I name SMS gateway, and I listen on port 8800. I pass it the phone number. I say the voicemail is on, and the message waiting count is was passed in as argument number 2. So next thing you know, your phone says you got that many messages. Who here wants 100 messages in their voice mailbox? I can set that up for you. So and of course the inverse is true. It's a little bit more complicated when a call comes in from to check voicemail. It calls the voicemail application, and then of course again there's a hang-up extension. And what happens here is there's two conditions. One, if there's a mobile account associated with this mailbox and the remaining message count is greater than 0, then actually raise the message waiting indicator again, updating the status to the new message count. So in other words, you have 17 messages in your mailbox, and you listen to 10 of them. So you're now going to have message waiting is equal to 7. And of course, if the next line, if it's actually equal to 0, then you're going to call a routine, which is this one right here, message waiting down, which of course calls the SMS gateway, port 8800, phone number, and voicemail is off. So redirecting your phone is pretty straightforward. Some phones actually have a little application on it. Some you have to type these arcane codes in, which are all over the internet. But some carriers actually don't honor these codes. You have to call them up and have them disable your mobile network operator provisioned voicemail account before they will accept these codes. But after that, it's smooth sailing. This is interesting. The question is, how do you identify whether that call coming in is coming from the wireless device? And this is a great question. You can obviously allocate a dedicated DID for that one voicemail account. In my opinion, that's a really good way to do it because it's extremely reliable. This is a debug of the ISDN D channel on our PRI. If you have the right internet telephony service provider, they'll actually give you access to some of these things. Here we have the ISDN user part information elements here that pertain to this. So here you can see the calling number over there. This is obviously the caller ID. The called number, this is how you know that they're calling voicemail because that number is associated with voicemail. And over here, the redirecting number. So this is called ISUP redirect, and basically you can see the subscriber number, the wireless subscriber number associated with that mailbox. The only problem with this technique is, I know large companies that offer voicemail system use it, but in my opinion, it has not been as robust as needs to be, especially as termination providers become more varied, and sometimes these messages don't show up the way you think, and you end up, again, coming back to this point, what's the most important function of your phone system? That it works. And so even big companies that start with a Y that I'm not going to mention that offer voicemail can end up with situations where the calling party is met with a very hostile greeting asking them to enter a subscriber number because for some reason they weren't able to read out the ISUP redirect messages on the call setup. So I'm going to show you a demonstration here. So let's see if I can get this to work. Of course, it's going to fail. Right? Okay. So bear with me. Come on. So see if you can see this. Oops, there we go. Okay, you guys see that? Yeah, see. There. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Now, I don't know if that's going to... Okay. Basically, I'm going to send myself some voicemail. And to see how cool this is. Okay. So this is the syntax. I didn't want to spend time typing it, so pre-typed it here. And boom. So it sends the message. It's off. And if you watch my... Where is it? Here it is. Come on. Sorry, this is... well, I just got 12 messages. You can't see it because my computer is being really slow and cranky. But there we go. Sorry. Let's see here. I don't know. Okay, this device is plugged in. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to work. I'm wondering if I have enough reception here to make this happen. But not in any case. Try it again. Well, shoot. Oh well. But the truth is, it will say that you. There it is. 12 messages. Yep. So, and let's see. Let's make it one better, right? Let's do. How about 120? How about 128 messages? Why not? I don't have time to listen to 128 messages, so I'm kind of hoping I don't get this one. But then again, there it is. 128 messages. Yep. Oh, I see. Did you see what happened? Actually, the messages, the first message was hung up on the network. Then I got 128 messages, and then I got finally the first message, which updated it back to 12. But I don't want to listen to these messages anyway, so I'm just going to say that it's 0. Does anybody want me to manipulate their message waiting indicator? Anybody here on T-Mobile? You don't want to do okay. So there it is, and you'll see this little You'll see there, it went away. So no voicemail. So you can